Nigeria is in a big mess. So this headline here says that bandits give 48-hour ultimatum for 200 million ransom in Kogi church. Kidnapping. Pastor, 6 children among 14 hostage. I mean, people have been reacting to it. So somebody here tweeted and said that, so these people remain in captivity, yet the government quickly sends fighter jets to Benin. Numerous victims, including the kidnapped KB school children and the pastor's family, are still missing. What exactly is our government doing about these tragedies? And that person tweeted and said, so if after 48 hours they don't pay the ransoms, they will buy them. Then government will say this guy should be forgiven and recruited into the army. What manner of government do we have, for God's sake? And another person tweeted and said, something is dangerously wrong somewhere. Why this level of kidnappings for money? This is a simple criminal enterprise for easy cash. Something is not right with the security apparatus. And that person tweeted and said, see, as Fulani terrorists, they move like owners of the country, yet we have a government and one at the federal that claims to be a master strategist. And that person tweeted and said, giving 48 hours to people who barely feed to provide 200 million, and someone is telling me that somebody actually negotiates with these demons. So guys, let me allow you guys to listen to what Arise TV have to say about this particular headline. So guys, watch this video and drop your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'm going to be right back to take you guys on more reactions. So guys, watch this video.
Level delegation from the United States recently held separate meetings with Benue State Governor Reverend Father Hyacinth Alia and key religious and traditional leaders in Makurdi. The delegation, which included members of the U.S. Congress, the U.S. Assistant Secretary of State, and the U.S. Ambassador to Nigeria, first visited the government house where they met with the governor. They later proceeded to the Bishop's house in Makurdi for a closed-door session with the bishops of the Catholic Diocese of Makurdi and the Catholic Diocese of Katsina, alongside the Tortiv, His Royal Majesty James Ayatse. Although the visiting officials did not address journalists after the meetings, Governor Alia, in a statement on his verified Facebook page, confirmed that discussions focused on the security and humanitarian challenges affecting Benue State and the wider North Central region. Joining us now is Honorable Tesser Ugbo, member representing Kwande Ushongo Federal Constituency, Benue State. Good morning, and you're most welcome to the...
Start with the basic issue. Do you believe, are you convinced that there is Christian genocide in Nigeria?
Well, thank you, Dr. Ruben. I will just put it like this. If the Tortiv of the entire Tiv people worldwide mentioned in front of the president that there's genocidal killings in Benue, if the bishop of the Makurdi Diocese himself confirmed that there's Christian genocide in Benue, and if the people themselves who have been killed, people in my federal constituency, in my village, who have been killed and tortured and displaced from their communities for 15 years, systematically refusing their return to their ancestral lands, who am I to deny that there's no Christian genocide in Nigeria? The truth of the matter is there's genocide taking place in many parts of Nigeria. Now, the question is, you know, when we think about genocide, we remember the Tutsi genocide. We remember the southern Darfur genocide, the southern Congo, you know. We remember the genocide against the Jews by the Nazis. So it brings back very negative memories of what genocide actually is. So it is unthinkable that our people, a Tiv ethnic group of Nigeria, Benue State as a whole, will be subjected to genocide. I don't believe that the Tiv people of Nigeria can be wiped out, or Benue State can be wiped out from the face of this country. But the truth of the matter is there is a systematic genocidal attack against many communities in Nigeria.
All right, thank you for setting that. Now, I want to ask you with regards to the U.S. delegation's visits to Benue State. I want to believe that you might be privy to some of the outcomes, even though the governor had spoken out. What are some of the outcomes based on their fact-finding mission? And to what extent do you think, based on your assertion of a Christian genocide in that area, what do you think some of the moves that are being done right now would do to stem that happening, or to stop the killings of your people?
Well, I might not be able to say exactly what was discussed in the meetings in the government house in Benue, or what was discussed during the closed-door meetings with the bishops, because the National Assembly caucus was not invited by the state government to participate in these meetings. Don't forget that as an assembly, we have what we call parliamentary friendship groups, where we engage with our counterparts in America and UK and other parliaments across the world. And I'm a member of many of these parliamentary friendship groups. I have been to Washington, D.C. to meet with our colleagues in Congress in America. So we expected that if a congressional delegation is coming to Benue on a fact-finding mission, then members of the National Assembly should have been invited to engage directly with them. But however it is, we have our channels where we also engage with members of Congress in America and other countries around the world. And don't forget that 2 years into the first year into my tenure in the National Assembly, I sponsored a documentary on the IDPs and the insecurity situation in Benue State. This documentary got international attention, and it is one of the tools that has really showcased the killings, the displacements, and the genocidal attacks going on in Benue State. And so we are hoping that as part of the discussions with the American delegation, one of the things that will be put in place is a mechanism through which we can raise funds and we can come up with programs and initiatives to resettle the over 600,000 IDPs that are currently in Benue State, one of the highest in Nigeria. And this was also confirmed by the representative Riley Moore, who was also part of that delegation, that what he saw physically. And this is what we have been crying about for many years now. Benue State has become the IDP capital of Nigeria, which is really, really unfortunate. And we're hoping that these discussions that have taken place at the state level with the government and with the bishops would have put in place a mechanism through which we can resettle IDPs and get them into productive activities for the benefit of our dear state of Benue State.
When Riley Moore was in Nigeria, his tweet met with a lot of triumphalism on the part of government-loving people. In fact, they retweeted him and praised him. But he has since tweeted again. And please, I want to ask if this tweet represents what's happening in Benue. And I'm reading his tweet now. He says, while in Benue, I met with dozens of Christians who were driven from their home and subjected to horrific violence. They now live in IDP camp. They told the harrowing story. One woman was forced to watch as they killed her husband and 5 children. She and her unborn child barely escaped. Another woman was murdered in front of her, and her baby was ripped from her womb. One man's family was hacked to death in front of his eyes, and his arms were permanently mangled. There are more than 600,000 Christians in IDP camps in Benue State. The Christians should not live in their ancestral homeland with fear of genocide. Paraphrasing. Is this a reflection of what is happening in Benue and what you think the representative member of America interfaced with?
Rufai, this is absolutely the reflection of what is happening on the ground in Benue State. I have personally cried about this situation for many, many months since I became a member of the National Assembly. In my federal constituency, in my local government, particularly of Kwande local government, we faced this crisis for many, many years. For over 15 years, there's been killings, there's been displacement, there's been mining, there's been rape. Our people are systematically being displaced from their ancestral land. I made an interview some months ago where I said almost 40% of arable land in Benue State has been taken over by bandits and by terrorists. So, so this is a systematic claiming of our land. Our people are not able to farm. Benue State has the highest food inflation in Nigeria because our people are able to farm. Benue State used to be the food basket of the nation, but now we have lost that ranking because a majority of our people are unable to farm and are able to live productive lives because of these killings. We've lost a lot of lives in Benue. The IDP situation is really, really bad in Benue State. It is worse than it is even portrayed. I can assure you that we did a documentary. We went around the entire state. We started from Zone C in Agatu, where there's one of the highest cases of IDPs and displacement and maiming and killing. But this is even underreported. Most of the report even talks about the thief-speaking areas of Benue State. The Idoma-speaking areas also face a lot of challenges, a lot of attacks and displacement. This issue is really serious. It is time that we take this matter very seriously. The federal government of of Nigeria, I'm happy that there's pressure now on the government to do something about this insecurity that we're facing in Benue. I hope that the collaboration with the American government, with the federal government of Nigeria, and with the support of the state government and the input from the state government, we will find a solution and bring lasting peace to this situation. The unity of our people is paramount. It is important that the government of Benue State, along with the leaders across the state, across the federal government of Nigeria, put heads together and bring a permanent solution to this issue. If not, just like what happened in Darfur, or what happened in Rwanda, where the people, the governments around the world looked away. The government at the time looked away until they think the issue became an extreme issue of over 800,000 people killed in the genocide in Rwanda. We hope that our government here, us as the leaders, will not bury our heads and look away until this issue becomes an international genocide that we will not be able to deny, as some leaders have denied recently about there's no genocide, or have denied the extent or downplayed the kind of killings going on. We hope that we don't look away, we don't deny these killings until it becomes too late and we experience full-blown killings and full-blown genocide in our dear country, Nigeria.
Very quickly, I will just pack like 3 questions into one. Very briefly, please. Number one, Congressman Moore was saying that there are about 600,000 persons in IDP camps in Benue. How accurate is that figure? 2, have you finally made peace with Governor Alia because you had sued him for defamation, over the mismanagement of relief materials? So, well, you then said you have withdrawn the case in order not to have distractions. But the problem you raised has not been solved. So, as the lawmaker representing, the federal constituency from Benue, in your area, what are your specific recommendations? Because we should go beyond identifying and analyzing the problem to say, this is what should be done. What do you think should be done?
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Abati. Number one, the figures by the congressman from America of 600,000 might even be underestimated. In fact, the state government figures from the State Emergency Management Agency puts the figures at over 1 million displaced people. Sometimes they even mention 2 million displaced people across Benue. Many of the displaced people don't live in IDP camps. Many of them have been displaced and are living in the communities, have moved to other communities, moved to the local government capitals or to the state capital. So sometimes they are unable to be calculated as a fraction or a component of the displaced people in Benue State. But I can assure you that that figure might even be less than that. The situation is really bad. And then secondly, you mentioned about my relationship with the governor. Well, it was an unfortunate situation. Over a year ago, palliatives were given to me by NEMA to take to my constituents, and the governor seized these palliatives illegally and impounded these things in Government House, even after the recommendation of all the security agencies and even his own staff to release the palliatives. He played politics with that situation and did not release. Eventually, when he released the palliatives, he released it to be distributed to his political cronies and his political friends in the local government, and the palliatives didn't end up going to the people for which I applied for these palliatives for. I sued the state government and the state governor himself for defamation of character, accusing me of diverting palliatives, which was not true. Not one single piece of palliative was missing anywhere. And, the case went on, and the government applied a diversionary approach, a delay tactics for over 1 year plus. The case kept going back and forth. The government refused to come and defend the allegation they made against me. And so I took it that their inability or refusal to come and defend the false allegations against me was an admittance of their failure and their falsehood against me. But it is time to move on. In politics, you don't fight indefinitely, because I have much larger responsibilities as a member representing my people. So I decided to withdraw the case and leave him to his conscience for why he would have gone the extent of calling a press conference just to tarnish my image at the time he did, which there was absolutely no reason for him to do that. But I've put that behind me. I've supplied way more palliatives and relief materials to our people in the IDPs and the people displaced in my community, so I don't care much about what has happened in the past. And then finally, we've done so much in terms of security in my constituency. I have donated a temporary mobile police station to the people. I have donated military tools and equipment to support the local vigilante in their work to support the security agencies. We have done so much in terms of moving motions and bills and proposals that bring peace and succor. We have spoken to agencies of government and of security to deploy more security and open up our economy to more economic activities. My constituency is a border community with Cameroon. We also border with Taraba, we border with Cross River. And so we need to have a tripartite kind of arrangement where we work with the Taraba state government to ensure that we do a collaborative security arrangement. So far, the security issue in my constituency has gone down because of the efforts that we have done over the last few months and the efforts of the federal government. We have seen a little bit of improvement. The frequency of the killings have reduced now, and that is as a result of a lot of the efforts and the work we have done to support local vigilante, support the local government police to do more in terms of protecting the people, and we have seen a good result, but we hope to see more, hopefully with the support and collaboration with the states and federal government to bring this issue to a permanent end.
Well, thank you very much, Honorable Tessia Ugbo, for joining
So guys, let me take you guys on more reactions on these headlines. So somebody here tweeted and said the pressure from these bandits are getting worse, and the only advice to Nigerians is to avoid traveling through Nigerian highways or expressway this heated season. Protect yourself. And that person tweeted and said, unfortunately, Nigeria is pardoning, rehabilitating, and even having good romance branded peace talk with such beasts, while down southeast of innocent people, all forms of pythons, crocodiles, and tigers are busy with blood of innocent citizens in the guise of IPOP terrorists. And that person tweeted and said, and the government, especially government of Kogi State, is quiet. I leave words of Mike Arnold that the APC government in Nigeria was not set up to fight terrorists, but to assimilate it. Is there any contrary opinion to this? And that person tweeted and said, the US should not tolerate this to continue, but should act on Nigeria. Tinubu's government cannot be trusted. These ruffians, opportunists, terrorists should be taught a lesson they will never forget. If they see body part of their partners lying around, they will think twice. And that person tweeted and said, bandits can call with their phones, yet the Nigerian security agencies cannot trace their location. But insult the president or any governor, it will take them less than 24 hours to apprehend you. Nigeria is a joke. Anyway, guys, that's all we have for today. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And also, if you're coming across my channel for the first time, do what, hit the subscribe button, like, and share this video. So, guys, thanks for watching. See you guys again in my next video.